What's up, guys? My name is Elliot and I'm here in Auburn, Indiana for the Worldwide Auctioneers Auburn Auction. And I thought it'd be a kind of an interesting little segment to talk about starter supercars. And you know me, I love Ferraris and I think this is a fantastic starter supercar. And this is one of the offerings here at the Auburn Auction. There is something called a starter supercar. Now, you can order them brand new. Ferrari, the 296 GTB would probably be the newest starter supercar. But back in the early 2000s, this was Ferrari's cheaper supercar. This is the 430 Spyder, and that's kind of how you should get Ferraris. The top should always go down. But the thing is, recently these have become fairly affordable, but that doesn't mean that they're any less of a performance bargain. These things are still about 490 horsepower. It's got the F1 transmission, which if you've been following this channel for any length of time knows that's one of my favorite transmissions. And this is the classic combo of Rosa Corsa over tan interior. This is how you're supposed to order a Ferrari. And like I said, these have become increasingly affordable over the years, making them a pretty good car for around $100,000. Now, I know that's not affordable to a lot of people, but in a Ferrari, that's pretty cheap because I think the cheapest Ferrari now is somewhere in the $300,000 range. So for $100,000, you still get quite a car. Now, this particular Ferrari is also one of my favorite Ferraris. I've said it before, if I was ever going to have a two-car garage for Ferraris, it would be one of these and a 599. This was the last of the Spyders where you could see the engine, for example. But one of the things they started doing after this car was covering up the engine because the retractable hardtop got in the way, but not in this. This is how it should be. You should be able to see the engine. It's a supercar. It's on display, and that's definitely the case in this Ferrari. Now, this is also kind of an evolution, I guess, of the Ferrari 360, which, you know, some might like it less, some might like it more. I kind of like it more. It's got the newer, upgraded version of the F1 transmission, more of that when we drive it. I just think it is the best looking and driving car for the money. So with that being said, let's take this thing out for a spin and see how a 2006 Ferrari 430 Spyder drives. All right. Visibility is excellent, and you really get a sense of how much of a go-kart this thing is when you're behind the wheel, because the hood just disappears in front of you. You can hardly see anything. And it just has such tight steering. It's really hard to believe that these have fallen in price so much because it's still such a fantastic car. Oh man, see, look, toss it through a corner here. It's so flat. Oh my goodness. And then you can come out and accelerate and listen to that. Oh, folks, I'm telling you, it really doesn't get any better than that. And one of the reasons is this transmission. You can see kind of there's a gap there, and I'll do it again, don't you worry. This is a single clutch automated transmission. So this was the best they could do at the time. This was before the era of the dual clutch. But essentially what you're working with is a manual transmission. You're just not controlling the clutch. So as you notice here, when you floor it, there's a gap in between the shifts, but let's listen to it. Oh, and well, it's just such a sensation. You know, these days with 700 horsepower this and 700 horsepower that, this car makes 490 horsepower feel really, really fast. And like I said, I like the delay in shifts. When you pull the thing back, you kind of bob forward and stuff. It feels like you're doing something. So it's not just like driving a slushy automatic or even a dual clutch where everything is so seamless. No, in this, it's a sense of occasion. And even when you downshift, the revs match. And let's see here. I don't like how close I am there. But again, all of this for around $100,000. I really do think this is quite the bargain. So much so that I got to hear the noise again. Like I said, the shift buck is so cool. It is such a sense of occasion, coupled with the sound and the intakes right at your ears. This is such a cool car. And the other thing is, they're kind of ageless. If you look at this thing from the outside, unless you really know cars, people are gonna be like, oh, that's a brand new Ferrari. They don't know that it's almost 20 years old. And honestly, from the way it drives, other than the lack of like tech in here, you really don't know that it's 20 years old from behind the wheel. This is everything. It checks all my boxes. Red, tan interior, Spyder, single clutch gearbox. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. Or does it? Now, I say that because there's one other starter supercar in the same price range as the Ferrari 430, and that's this, the Lamborghini Gallardo. And this one is very, very similar to the Ferrari 430. It's also a Spyder, and it also has an automated manual single clutch gearbox. But that's about where the similarities end, other than them both being Italian. Whereas this one is flashy and red and tan and look at me, everything like that. This Lamborghini is kind of stealthed out. It even has a tinted windshield. But believe it or not, like I said, these are around the same price. Both have around the same horsepower. Although in this case, you cannot see the engine on the Lamborghini Gallardo unless you try to put the top down. And the Lamborghini Gallardo is actually all-wheel drive. So if you fancied dailying this in the winter in Sweden, you probably could. Other things of note, the Lamborghini also has a V10 versus a V8. But these are your choices when you're looking for starter supercars. So let's get this out on the road and see how it drives in comparison to the Ferrari. Okay, so driving the Lamborghini Gallardo. What a difference in car, even though there are a lot of similarities. I do feel a little further away from the front, whereas I felt like I was almost driving, you know, like a cab forward vehicle with the 430 because you can't see anything in front of you. With the Lamborghini, you're very much aware that there's a hood in front of you. Steering's a little heavier, makes sense, it's all-wheel drive. The sound is different, but it's still really good, still right by your ear, which is again why I think you should get your Italian sports cars topless every time. Now, as far as handling goes, let's toss this thing into a corner here and see. All right. So, yeah, it's still pretty darn good. They don't call them supercars for nothing. Oh, and then the V10 roar is just, oh, the V10 roar and the rev match downshifts are, oh, I guess it's Italian. They're this. Oh man, so let's do that again. Again, this is that same automated manual transmission. The F1 and the Ferrari, this is called the E-gear, but it gives you that good buck that I'm looking for. So ready, Evan? Yeah. See, it's the 2.3 when it goes, you're like, I mean, it just, this is what driving a supercar should feel like. Now, I've driven like Huracans and stuff like that with the dual clutches, and they're faster, but you don't get that positive gear engagement in between the shifts. It just feels like a slingshot. You're just kind of always accelerating. This, there is a shift and a kick in the back, and I love that. I love that about both of these cars. It's honestly kind of hard to tell which one I love more. Another thing about the Lamborghini though is because it's all-wheel drive, you can kind of floor it any time with any amount of steering input without fear for your life. This thing's really not gonna spin out unless you majorly mess up. So it is a little bit more confidence inspiring when you want to show off, which, I mean, to buy a Lamborghini is kind of what you want to do. Now, back to my main feature is those bucks in between shift. I'm gonna give it a good 2-3 banger right here. And listen to that V10 sing, the symphony. I mean, folks, it's plenty fast. And like I said, between either of these two cars, there's really not a chance you're not gonna have a smile on your face at some point when driving it. There is such a sense of occasion to both the 430 and the Gallardo, but yet they're also accessible. They're fast, but it's not scare yourself, poop your pants fast. It's just good, accessible, usable, fast. Handling's amazing. It's always going to be special. Name a kid who hasn't gotten excited about seeing a Lamborghini or Ferrari. That's what you get when you get a starter supercar like this. You get all of the, the fame and adoration, all the gas station cheers, but you didn't have to spend a whole lot of money. It's really quite the deal. I really think I'd buy one of these over anything new for $100,000. That is for darn sure. And like I said, both of these cars are going up for auction this weekend here at Worldwide Auctioneers, and both of them, I believe, for no reserve. So if you're watching this, you could be buying one of these cars, and I'll tell you from firsthand experience, they're both pretty awesome. But it does beg the question, which would you choose for about $100,000? A Ferrari 430 Spyder or this, a Lamborghini Gallardo Spyder? Tough choice. So there you have it. These are your two choices when looking at a starter supercar for right at about $100,000. It's kind of a tough choice to make. Both have their merits. Obviously, I have a soft spot for the Ferrari, but there's no denying how awesome and savage the Lamborghini is. What an opportunity, thanks to the folks at Worldwide. Now, both of these cars are actually going up for auction this weekend, Thursday and Saturday for both of these cars, in fact. And you can catch all of the action on Worldwide Auctioneers YouTube channel. I'll be there doing some hosting with my co-host Kayla, driving cars like this up on the lot, and just keeping you guys entertained while the auction's going. So if you can't be here in person, be sure to tune in to the live broadcast. I'll have links and stuff like that all over my social medias. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know which one of these two you would choose if you had the choice. Man, it's just cool getting to be around them. So thank you guys, thanks to Worldwide Auctioneers, and we'll see you on the next video.